Us connected to the voice chat. Um, this is the most entertaining podcast on the planet right now. Scroll down to sound check.
Go see a bunch.
Yeah, maybe he just has to scroll down on the app. Ooh.
There we go.
Oh, hey, what's up? You're in. You made it.
You tapped on the right one.
I did.
You're good at tapping. You're really good at tapping.
Oh yeah, that's why they call me TapDaddy.
All right, I'm gonna play our intro and then we can get started here. Huh?
Okay, sweet.
Okay, I guess I'm not playing our intro because it's not gonna. Okay, I've been having problems with SoundCloud won't let me play things off SoundCloud anymore for some reason, but Bandcamp still works.
Fuck right. Yeah, Bandcamp.
This is the second week in a row no musical intro. It's kind of sad, but okay. All right. Anyway, this is episode 46 of the Eager to Hear podcast. We're here today with TapDaddy. How you doing today?
Yo.
So what is TapDaddy? Explain that to me.
Well, it's a project I started when I was like 16, and I'm 25 now, so it's been going for quite a while. But basically what it's turned into is kind of this cool I'm just kind of playing around with fusion of jazz and hip hop. I just basically make hip hop tracks and then I play jazz over it. It's pretty fun.
That's a pretty sweet fusion. Sounds pretty good.
Hell yeah. I'm surprised no one's done it. I mean, a few people have tried something close to it, but I'm surprised no one's just made hip-hop tracks and played jazz over it. I don't know.
So that's what you do? You like create a hip-hop beat and then you like improvise over it or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, my first album, I was just kind of learning how to produce, but the album I made before this last one that I just produced, I kind of came up with this concept with my friend Alex, who he's got like a master's degree in trombone. He wanted to make an album, and we kind of came up with this concept of let's just make a hip hop track and just play jazz over it. It works really well.
Heck yeah, it does. All right. Should we hear what that sounds like? Do you mind if we play play a song here?
Definitely.
Let's see. Let's go with One Pissed Off Sinner.
Yeah.
Oh, is it gonna work? What the heck, man?
Uh-oh.
I tested it like right before we started, and then it was like, oh, never mind. Let's see.
Oh.
Let me just try it again.
How embarrassing.
I know, right? This is Hey Cameron, are you still there?
Nah, I don't think he's here.
Why is he? Wait, let me try one more time.
If you don't know
there we go. Hell yeah.
who I am, then maybe your best course would be to tread lightly.
thought you knew, you took a stance to represent how you thought it was, and then suddenly it's all dead and horrible and ugly and empty.
You have been terribly hard on yourself.
You know what I got for Christmas this year? I got a carton of cigarettes. The old man grabbed me and said, "Hey, smoke up, Johnny."
Well, I'll just go back into the world because the whole thing was phony anyway. The whole spiritual trip was a hype. And all those people in the world that said there was nothing to it were right, because I've lost it, and I'm not going to get screwed by not having anything. At least I'll have the world.
All right, that was One Pissed Off Sinner. So what can you tell me about that song? What was the inspiration behind it?
You know, I don't know, like, one night I was just really digging the sort of synth sound, that lead sound, you know, and it had a really good drum loop that was almost kind of punk, you know, and it kind of resulted in something that, I don't know, some people might get mad at me for saying this, but it kind of sounded something a little more cyberpunk, you know, and I just ran with it. You know, as you can see, like, my stuff isn't strictly like jazz. It's not strictly hip hop or jazz. It's kind of turned into a lot of things, but yeah, One Pissed Off Sinner just kind of, I knew at that moment, like, I needed something that, you know, I needed some samples that were kind of angry. I needed a song title that was pretty angry, and, you know, it just like kind of wrapped up a lot of cool emotions that I was, you know, my last album was a lot more chiller, and I wanted to kind of push this one to be a lot more emotional. And this one, I'm really proud of One Pissed Off Sinner. That one turned out bueno.
Yeah, that was a pretty good song. So what kind of like instrumentation did you like look into for that song?
You know, basically what I do with my studio setup is I have a real bass guitar, and I play real like live piano. This one I was really kind of digging around synths and just different kind of rough lead sounds, and you know, that was actually the first song that I really came across that lead and put that to use. And, you know, I feel very happy with how that turned out. You're probably going to hear more of that lead in other TapDaddy tracks in the future.
Yeah, it's kind of like a pretty simplified like synth lead sound. It fit well with it.
Yeah, and it hits pretty hard, you know? It comes across pretty screaming, you know?
Yeah, I like the use of your bass guitar and everything. It adds like some more like breathability to the sound of it.
Hell yeah. In fact, a lot of the stuff that I'm producing now has a lot of real bass sounds. And what I've been doing, especially lately, you won't hear this on the album that I just released, but in future stuff, is I've been throwing chorus on top of the bass and a lot of other sounds just to give it a sort of psychedelic feel, this sort of old school feel.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, I've been playing a ton with basses, really.
It's a good sound, yeah, and then the chorus would like widen things out too, make it sound like big and in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, okay. Back to the cyberpunk thing you were talking about. I can see that definitely with the album cover and the whole vibe of everything.
Hell yeah. I told someone on the internet the other day that was kind of sort of a cyberpunk song, you know, and someone really chewed me out the other day, like, no, cyberpunk is this and that and the other thing, and it has real drum loops and synths and this and that. And I was like, Well, you kind of listed everything that was in the track. But
Yeah. So I didn't know that cyberpunk was a genre of music. I didn't know that.
oh yeah, I mean, I didn't really know that either. I kind of stumbled across some cyberpunk uh, when I was just looking up the new game, Cyberpunk, you know? And I guess a lot of the examples that I've heard from people of what cyberpunk is kind of along the lines of, I don't know if you know of like mindless self-indulgence, which is very
Oh, yeah.
different from what we just listened to. But I suppose that's like an example of cyberpunk.
Really? I haven't heard that band in a long time.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't heard that band since I was like in high school.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. In
so-
high school, and when you were like slightly emo, I was the same way.
Yeah, oh totally, man. You have no idea.
Or whatever the term is. I don't know if emo is the term, but you know what I mean, like an angsty
Yeah.
teenager, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? So so are the drum loops? Are those live too or no?
Oh yeah, those were all live. I kind of made it a mission for this album. I wanted all live drum loops, and I did. I don't know, for anyone that really listens to the whole album, I did a lot of cool things with the drum loops. I learned a lot of cool producing techniques that you can do with drum loops. Like I'm just gonna drop a secret for any producers that may be listening.
Oh, I'm listening. I'm listening.
So
Oh,
you have a
Cameron,
drum
you're
loop.
here.
And you're like, okay, I want to, and you're gonna hear this at the beginning of one of the other songs I gave you. But if you want to drop out the kick drum or whatever, or the snare, you can do that with EQ3, like an equalizer. You can drop out the bass to totally just demolish the kick, and then at some point in the song you can just kick that right up, and all of a sudden it's as if you totally took out the kick drum from the track and you just got like hi-hat and snare. So that's just a little tip
That's a
for
pretty cool idea.
any producers
What are
thinking of any-
you What are you using as far as your DAW?
I'm using Ableton Live 9, which for anyone who is still using Ableton Live 9, you know that in this next Mac update, it's not going to be usable anymore, which
Yeah.
is a bummer. But I'm going to be switching over to MPC. I've got an Akai MPC Studio, and so I really like that DAW. I don't have as much experience as I do with Ableton, with that, but I'm going to dig into that. And I'm also thinking about just picking up Ableton 10 because I really love Ableton. I love how it's just laid out. It's just so easy. I recommend it to anyone, really.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from a lot of people. Like a lot of my friends who have Ableton 9 were saying like they really don't want to buy it because they're so comfortable with it. But a lot of my friends too are students, so they don't know like they can get the student discount, and buy Ableton for a pretty good price.
That's a really cool point. I actually didn't know that there was a student discount.
Yeah, I think it's like a couple $100 off, like the just base value, and it comes with like a year of free updates. I think it's the same as like
that
Pro
is so
Tools.
cool. Hell yeah.
Is this an advertisement for Ableton now? Like,
I mean, I don't.
I'm all throwing it out there.
now, there's a
yeah.
lot of good DAWs. Like, it's kind of hard to go wrong for the most part.
Yeah. Also, Ableton is the first thing that made me realize I love dark mode in everything.
Yeah.
Ableton,
Yeah.
by default, it just made me fall in love with it. I love the user interface for Ableton. It looks so pretty. I like it.
Are you using the stock Ableton plugins on a lot of your stuff, or have you expanded out and bought some ones and upgraded?
So I stay away from buying plugins, and I'm kind of a, I don't know, fundamentalist audio engineer. In fact, in my free time, I'm a software engineer. And so a little side project I've been doing is I looked up all the documentation on WAV files, and I'm starting to mess around with WAV files. I'm kind of one of those people that would rather engineer my own sounds than go buy a different plugin and all that. And maybe I'm just being a total cheap bastard, but I am at heart through and through audio engineer, so I try to just make my own sounds.
That's sweet.
I totally get that. Yeah.
I was thinking about making my own VSTs and like releasing them on my website or something. Honestly.
Hell yeah, man! In fact, I've had the same idea, so I don't know if you want to like collaborate on something.
Maybe.
I'm
I've never
playing
done it
around with a
before.
lot
Like
of
I've
things at
done
the
a lot of
moment.
programming before. I've never done VSTs. But might be fun.
Oh yeah, well hit me up after the podcast and maybe we can
Okay.
combine our resources.
I was thinking like maybe like start simple, like make like an EQ or something first, and then like see if there's any way to like expand from there, like do different stuff like effects or whatever.
Definitely. I've really fallen in love with the chorus effect, which is where you take a copy of a sound wave and you stack it on top of the sound wave, but slightly, ever so slightly out of time, so that when you add those two sound waves together, it comes up with something a lot more raunchy. And I encourage any producer listening right now, take a sine wave, a simple sine wave bass or something, throw chorus on top of it, and you will get a really cool raunchy vibe sound, and it sounds so cool. Just like, definitely chorus is one of my favorite things, and you'll recognize that chorus, you know, that kind of stereotypical 60s psychedelic rock, like you'll notice after playing around with chorus for a while that all of these psychedelic rock bands from the 60s were throwing chorus over their guitars, and you get this really interesting sound.
Oh yeah,
Really good
absolutely. I've messed around with the chorus a lot, and if you even like heavy metal, like 80s hair metal and stuff, like the way they make the guitar sound, it's like there's a lot of chorus and all that stuff.
Oh, totally.
It's
Yeah,
super
that
popular.
and like the 80s too just had like tons of reverb and tons of chorus.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's just always everywhere because it makes it like if you only have like one guitarist even, and as opposed to two guitarists, it makes it sound like you almost have two guitarists. You know what I mean? It makes it wider and thicker.
I think you'll hear this with a lot of the 80s bands, that they'll throw a lot of distortion on their guitar, but then on top of that they'll have chorus, and I feel like that's kind of the sound of, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think that's like if you listen to Queen, you know, the guitars in Queen music is very like grand, and I feel like they threw a little bit of chorus on top of that, you know?
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's like that, and then a lot of what Brian May's guitar tone was honestly his Vox AC30s with treble boosters coming in between him and the guitar and the amp.
Yeah.
Whoa, man, sounds are crazy.
Sounds cool, man.
Sounds are cool. I like noise.
I like noise too, man.
No, I think it's funny, like when you say you like a certain type of music and someone says, "Oh, that sucks. It just sounds like noise or whatever." But it's like, isn't literally all music? Isn't that just noise?
It is, yeah.
Like, why does it sound good? It doesn't make any sense that it sounds good. It just does, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, do you want to go to another song now?
Oh, hell yeah. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Let's do it. What do we got? The Comeback?
Yeah, oh, that's a good one. I like piano work on this one, so.
Oh,
yeah.
sweet.
I love this so far.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's so great. And not playing at all. Like, I don't know why it's doing this to me. Let me try it again.
Oh, I love this part where the beat drops.
Yeah, man. I like the piano parts, like you said. It was
Hell
like
yeah.
you had like an organ, and you like layered it with a piano on top. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like really in the zone that night that I was recording that. And that's I would say, like, if you could sum up TapDaddy in a track, that is essentially a lot of what I do. It's hip hop with I throw piano on top of it, and it's at its core it's jazz. It may not sound that way to a lot of people, but it is improvising on top of this hip hop beat, and I was just on fire that night.
So
Have you thought about? Oh, sorry.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Like, as far as like time signatures go, do you go into any more jazz traditional time signatures, like like 3/4, like 6/8, or anything like that?
I've thought about it, and a little bit of the stuff that I'm working on now, I'm playing a little bit more with that. But at the same time, hip hop at its core is traditionally very 4/4,
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to stick with tradition in that I know a lot of my audience is hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to deliver the best hip hop that I can. But I have kind of thought about getting more experimental. I used to, way back in high school, I was the drummer for my jazz band. That's where my appreciation for jazz started, and I still listen to jazz all the time. And that kind of makes me want to do something that's even more like 7/8. I have a deep love for the 7/8 time signature, and that it's just so kind of askew, but it can groove so well if you know how to get the clave rhythm right.
Yeah.
Dude, 7/8 is sweet. If you just bump it up to
Yeah.
8/8, it'll still be hip hop.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So, uh, so, yeah. So jazz. You were a drummer in a jazz band. That's pretty cool. So, what are some like musicians that inspire you?
So, definitely where this all started was, I don't know, when I was about 16, when I was about starting this whole TapDaddy project. I was listening to Bad Bad Not Good. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are a Canadian jazz band. They started this while they were at college, going to college for jazz. And they ended up doing like a lot of kind of hip hop jazz crossover. They did an entire album with Ghostface Killah called Sour Soul, I believe it is. Definitely check that out, whoever's listening. Like, totally worth your time. They've done tons of collaborations with a bunch of hip hop artists. My favorite is that they have this I don't know if it's an actual EP or if it's an unofficial fan compilated EP, but they've done a lot of work with Tyler the Creator. They have an entire EP where they did a lot of cool stuff with him that's not even all rapping. It's a lot of jazz. That's my favorite EP from them, hands down. Everyone has to check that out. But yeah, that kind of sent me down this path of this hip hop jazz variant. And from there, I took a little bit of inspiration from Nujabes, who does a lot of kind of crossover between hip hop and jazz, even though him himself is mainly hip hop. And also the sampling style of MF Doom, which you'll probably hear in the third track that I sent you guys, and also in that first track you heard a little bit of sampling. But MF Doom does a lot of sampling from movies and popular media, that he creates a dialogue with his sampling, and that always resonated pretty deep with me. My favorite MF Doom work was probably his album Take Me to Your Leader, where he does an entire rap album as the three-headed dragon from Godzilla, King Ghidorah. It is so bizarre. I think anyone should check that out. That is a really great album. But yeah, Bad Bad Not Good, Nujabes, MF Doom, these are all like pretty near and dear inspirations of mine. I have a lot of respect for these artists. They really have hold a lot of weight in terms of what I want to pursue.
So what are you pursuing? Like, where do you see this going in the future?
Exactly what I'm pursuing is basically when I made my last album, to be perfectly clear, that's the name of the album, to be perfectly clear. I was mainly making an album that I wanted to listen to. I was a big fan of Bad Bad Not Good in this sort of hip hop jazz crossover, and I really wanted to hear some hip hop tracks with jazz musicians playing over them instead of rappers, because I just love jazz, and I think that, you know, it works so well, and I'm so surprised that it's not a concept that's been done before. I really want to bring that to market if I can, even though I am a very, you know, hobbyist producer. I don't make money from this at all, really. But by the way, buy my album on Bandcamp and buy my merchandise. You can see the link in my YouTube videos. That would be awesome. That would really help me make more of this.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I looked at your shirts. They're pretty cool. I'll probably buy one actually right now.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I really just want to kind of deliver this concept that I think there needs to be more of in the marketplace. There's none of it out there. I was so sad when I got done listening to all of Bad Bad Not Good stuff. I was like, there's nothing else out there that's hip hop and jazz at the same time. Why isn't there?
Isn't like the first Wu-Tang album kind of hip hop, jazz, a little bit? They use some.
I would have to listen to it. Which what's the name of the album?
36 Chambers, the first record.
Oh yeah, you know, they do a lot of sampling of jazz, and I really like that. Oh, by the way, 36 Chambers. Anyone listening to this that hasn't,
yeah, you gotta listen to that album.
That is such a goddamn good album.
They've been doing tour. The reason I bring it up is because I think it was last night in Chicago. They played at Riot Fest and they played the whole album front to back live.
Oh, nice! That is so cool.
I think that's a tour they're honestly doing right now. That's the whole record front to back. So anyone out there, go check that out.
Yeah, if they come to Denver, I am going to see that. That is awesome.
So is TapDaddy your Wu-Tang name generator? Does that come out of there?
Yeah, I put that in a Wu-Tang name generator. No, actually, how I got that name was I was in band class, and my good friend Forrest, he walks up to me being kind of silly. My last name is Taparo, and so he was just kind of speaking some jive and just being kind of silly, and he was like, "What's up, TapDaddy?" And I was like, oh man, that is such a I have to make a music project named TapDaddy. That is such a good name. I can't let that pass me by.
That's solid. Yes. So yeah, so your shirts, you have two different shirts, right?
Yeah,
I was gonna,
and you'll notice this album is very Android inspired.
Oh yeah, I can tell. Is that a picture of you on the second one?
Yeah, you know, in fact, I had a good friend of mine, Evan. He took a picture of me and basically turned me into an android. I wanted a really realistic looking android that loves hip hop. Because for anyone that wants to dig into this album a little deeper, definitely check out my music video for the song Products. This album, in the first place, I kind of wanted it to be a sci-fi hip-hop album because I feel like there hasn't been enough of that done. I haven't heard that done since Deltron 3030, right? And I kind of had this idea of, what if there was an android that became so sentient, he decided, you know, fuck doing all this service stuff. I want to make hip-hop. And in the song Products, through the sampling, it kind of tells the story of this android who ends up rejecting his role as an android and ends up being taken to court to fight for his freedoms as an independent person, to make hip hop on his own terms, you know, and not serve everyone around him. And definitely check it out. Anyone that's like digging this album and wants to check it, look at that music video. You're gonna love it. It's very much and it's supposed to be the android that's on the cover. This whole album is supposed to be from the perspective of this android who is just making hip hop and, you know, kind of rejects his role in society.
Well, man, that's a really cool concept.
Hell, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I feel like there's not enough sci-fi hip-hop. I love sci-fi, and I just like Deltron 3030 really made me think like, okay, maybe I'm not a gangster, so I can't make gangster rap, but I love sci-fi, and maybe I can make some dank sci-fi hip-hop, you know?
Yeah, I guess the cyberpunk thing makes sense when you explain it that way.
Yeah.
Have you thought about getting your stuff on like streaming platforms like Spotify?
I've thought about it. You know, there's kind of a there's kind of a lot to it. I kind of littered this album with samples, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to touch too much. I don't want anyone suing me. Is really the answer to that.
Is there like a gray area there where it's like transformative or?
It's
I mean,
hard.
here's the real thing is I don't think this is going to blow up enough that anyone's going to be suing me. But at the same time, if it does blow up that much, then maybe I'll be able to afford a lawyer. But
It really depends on like I'm one of my classes because I'm going to school for audio engineering and stuff. One of my classes is like arts management, and we were talking about this, and we were talking about samples briefly, and it really all comes down to the popularity of like the sample, the usage. It's a really hard line to do. I mean, yeah, you're still supposed to get like approval and stuff, but I mean, if it's like this short part, I mean, you could honestly get away with it. But it's all in context of the song and how much it's used.
Exactly. I mean, what I've looked up and what I've realized is that I did myself a favor by sampling older movies, older media in general, generally stuff that was kind of more in the 70s, 80s. I sample a lot of a philosopher, Ram Dass, who he's an interesting character, by the way. If anyone wants to do a Wikipedia search on him, you'll be pretty surprised. But yeah, these kind of public speeches I feel like are kind of more safer to touch on. But at the same time, I'm kind of pissed because I realize this is an art form. This sampling style is definitely an art form, and there's no way to really legally do it unless if you have a team of lawyers, you know, unless you can afford that. And so, you know, I'm a little butthurt after I slaved on this album for like almost 4 years. And to now be like, crap, I can't put it on iTunes or Spotify because of this. That really saddens me. But, you know, it's on YouTube, and you can buy it for $10 on Bandcamp. And, you know, I'm hoping that will at least get my name out. And my next album I'm hoping to have on iTunes and Spotify and all of the, you know, all of the platforms that you want to listen to your music on.
Yeah, do that. Go buy TapDaddy's album and his merch. So this is an idea I had, and I want to maybe try to start doing it. But like, could I like buy one of your shirts and then like give it to somebody, like one of the audience people?
Oh, definitely. I would very much appreciate that. That'd be cool.
I was thinking about doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that with the guests. But so do you like drop ship with the shirts, or do you have them, or how do you do it?
So okay, anyone who's kind of hobbyist, artist, or whatever should pay attention right now. I've been using Redbubble, and it's great because I don't have to buy my shirts in the first place. All I have to do is hardest part is getting the artwork. I paid my friend for the realistic Android sketch, and then I paid my sister, who she works for a company that provides all of the graphic design work for Netflix. So she is a Netflix graphic designer. She's the one that ended up making my album artwork, that android that you see on the cover of the album. So the hardest part is getting the artwork, but once you have that, you can go to a lot of different services like Redbubble, where you can put your graphics on a t-shirt, sell your merch. You can even have like everything on there, from like coffee mugs to book bags. I actually do have a coffee mug and book bag. I need to make that more apparent on my Redbubble page, but that is out there for anyone that wants it. But yeah, there's so many things that you can, like, even shower curtain. You can have shower curtain.
So they do the manufacturing and they ship it out for you and do all that work for you?
Yeah, they do the manufacturing, they ship it out for you. You get basically you get as the artist, you get the profit aside from the cost of making the shirt. And I think it's a win-win for everyone. You don't have to make a big investment before you're huge to actually have merchandise. You can actually have stuff that your fans can enjoy without really going into debt and buying 500 t-shirts, you know?
Oh yeah.
I think it's a really good service.
Maybe we should do that for our podcast.
It's basically print to order, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And I ordered my t-shirts. They are amazing. Like I wear them all the time. They're so cool. I think I'm just giddy because it's my own artwork on my own t-shirt. But
it always feels
yeah.
good.
It feels amazing.
Let's get some Eager to Hear shirts going. We can totally do that.
Yeah, you guys totally could. I'd buy a t-shirt.
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I think it's probably gonna be like a week long giveaway or whatever. We're gonna figure this out later, but yeah, so it'll be like it'll be for one of your shirts, and then I'll post it on the Facebook page, whatever, and people can. What are the terms to enter? They have to
share the post and follow us on Instagram.
They have to follow you on. Do you have it like social media pages? Are there like, is there like a TapDaddy Instagram?
Oh, me? Yeah, there actually is. It's at TapDaddy.official. Definitely check me out. I throw shit up on there all the time, so yeah.
All right, you have to go to at TapDaddy.official and you have to follow his Instagram to enter the t-shirt. And
follow Eager Electronics too.
Yeah, and follow Eager Electronics. And then I'm gonna pick one random person, and then they're gonna get a t-shirt. And then everyone wins in that situation, right?
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys so much for doing that. Awesome. I hope you guys enjoy the merch. You know, whoever's listening, whoever gets that merchandise, I hope you really enjoy it. It's some really cool t-shirts.
And I also need a new coffee mug. So if you ever put those up there, that might be.
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're up there. They're kind of hard to navigate to. So, but I'm gonna try to figure that out to, you know, one step at a time. But yeah.
Yeah, the other day I literally like dropped my coffee mug, and it was like 2 a.m. So instead of going to bed, I had to like clean up my coffee mug.
Oh man, that's the worst.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, should we play one more song?
Hell yeah! This next one should be the title track, "Rainy Day Acid."
Oh, "Rainy Day Acid." It's a good title.
Oh yeah! So I got that title. Somebody, one of my friends from college had some leftover LSD, and he referred to it as "Rainy Day Acid," and I was like, "Dude, I have as an album title. That is such a good name."
Yeah,
I stole that from someone.
We all have that guy we know that does acid, right?
Yeah, we all have a friend that's a total hippie and all that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, it's supposed to play now, but it's okay. Let's try it again. It takes like 2 tries. I don't know why.
Today is the first day of the rest of your life.
What are you doing?
This is the first day of the rest of your life, but what kind of life will it be, huh? Will it be a life of fear? Oh, no, I can't do this. Of never once believing in yourself.
separate event. And you run from the maternity ward to the crematorium, and that's it, lady. That's it. Now, why does anybody think that way? There's no reason to.
Life is effort, and I'll stop when I die.
Somewhere in that totality known as the universe is a galaxy called the Milky Way. Tucked into the corner of that galaxy is a planet named Earth.
And what is the standing order for humans from your imperious leader? Extermination.
The anomaly, my ship, my crew. I suppose you're worried about your fish, too.
And even the fish begin to weep.
We're tough. See, I'm a big, strong guy because I face fact. And life is just a bunch of junk. And I'm going to impose my will on it and turn it into something else, you see. And I'm real hard.
Hell yeah. Rainy day acid. Alright. So now we've come down to the ultimate question. Alright.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it?
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Say it.
Alright, so describe the ultimate sandwich.
Oh man, the ultimate sandwich. You know, I personally believe that the meatball sub has the most to offer.
Yeah, please elaborate on that.
I mean, how much meat do you want in your sandwich? You're gonna get the best deal with a meatball sub. It's just so goddamn good. That's what I get every time I go to Subway.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
But you know what? Now that I think about it, I might have to take that back. I've been really enjoying French dip lately. You know, with the roast beef and the au jus.
Ooh.
Oh man, I've discovered Jason's Deli does the best, the best French dip. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn between meatball sub and French dip. I'm a meat guy. If you haven't noticed.
Oh, absolutely. Wait, do we have a Jason's Deli? I think we have one, don't we?
Yeah, Metro Center.
I haven't been there since I was probably 13 or 14. So maybe I should go there. I didn't realize it was that fucking good.
Oh, definitely. Go there, definitely. Like, get their meat eater. That's their French dip.
No
Fucking,
way.
like, the best French dip you'll ever have.
I'm gonna go there right now. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's a little too late. So, what is that? What are you doing, Cameron? Oh my gosh.
Sorry, my screen was frozen and I was freaking out.
You're just vigorously clicking? Like, that's all I heard. Anyway, we appreciate you coming on today. Is there anything else you want let the audience know?
Just you know, I'm on YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram, Bandcamp. Definitely go, like, if you like the music, I really appreciate the support to anyone that's willing to follow me or whatever. Just like, you know, your support is what lets me know that I'm doing something right. Also, the album is $10 on Bandcamp. If you really like it, definitely get that. Just go jam it all day long on your phone. Just go walk around with it and listen to it, whatever, you know. And the merchandise, definitely buy a T-shirt or whatever. They're really good. I made sure that they were T-shirts that I would want to wear. I hope that you think that they're cool. But yeah, buying these is what really enables me to spend more time producing more content for you guys. I've already got some more stuff in the works, but you know, depending on how much success I get on this, kind of dictates how much time I'm gonna spend on putting more stuff out there. So definitely go out there and you know, get some TapDaddy merch.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Hell yeah.
So, I think we're ready to wrap things up here. Thanks for listening. I should have all the links, all the links to your pages under the video,
cool,
or under the everything. I don't know. So this is actually going up on Spotify. So we're gonna see if we get taken down for the samples. Probably not. I would say probably not.
You know what? I'm not worried about it. So you know,
it's fair use. We're commentating.
So technically, your music is going to be on Spotify. Right, at least those 3 songs.
Awesome, there you guys go. And you know, I just want to thank you guys for inviting me to your awesome podcast. This was a lot of fun. So if you guys ever want to do this again, just hit me up. You know?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We love having people on whenever, and I'll talk to you about VSTs maybe sometime. I don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I know I'm working on some stuff. Maybe we could pull resources. So that would be cool.
Sounds like a good learning experience.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening to the Eager to Hear podcast. Yeah, just follow us. Just like us and follow us and slap those buttons, whatever they
send us your memes.
Send us memes. Come on our podcast. Like literally anybody can come on our podcast. Whatever.
You don't gotta be no TapDaddy to be on this.
You can be a musician. Anyone can be a musician. I think anybody can be a musician. Like if you're a bongo, we haven't had a bongo player yet. So if we're looking for one of those. Yeah.
I have a friend who plays the bong. Not the bongos, but just the bong.
All right. Thanks for coming on, TapDaddy.
Hell yeah! Thanks for having me.